Welcome to Autodesk Maya. My name is Will Grider. I'll be instructing you on just the interface and basics of Maya itself. So we're going to start off here with just making a primitive. So we're just going to go right to the Polygon section, and then we're going to go right to the Polygon cube section. If you forget any of these things, you can just hover over your mouse here, click that button. You can draw a box, and it makes a box for you. You can also set your height here. If you don't want to do that, I'm going to hit Command and Z. If you're on a Mac, it's Control and Z on a PC. You just literally click it and click it once, and you can make a box. To zoom in, you just scroll with your scroll wheel on your mouse, and you can see here I'm going to move this. So now I have my basic primitive. All of your tutorials today and all of your ideas will start with primitives. So we're going to start by clicking on the Move tool. This is the Move tool. And you can see here, this is the x-axis. If you ever forget, you can go to the bottom left corner area here and click that, and it'll tell you where you are. So I'm going to move that to the center, and I'll move up a little bit on the y-axis. And you can see here, that is a primitive. We can also scale that up if we want by clicking the Scale tool. The Scale tool is right here. You can also just move your mouse over it. It'll tell you by hitting just the letter R on your keyboard. So we're going to scale up here. You can click on it once and just pull and drag to make it bigger if we wish. So that's how you make a scale tool. You can also scale it to the left, hit Command Z. And you can also scale it elongated. Also hit the boxes up here. And this is the basics. And another tool that we didn't go over yet, which is the Rotate tool. Click on that. You can rotate these this way, rotate them that way, or you can rotate them in any way you're looking at it. This is the flat 2D plane rotation tool. So any way you're looking at it. Now, if you want to curve and turn around this, you can hold the Option key and twist and drag. You can see that round exterior line never moves because it's the same perspective as your camera. So right now we're in that three-dimensional plane. You can see that I'm just clicking in the box here while I'm holding my Option key. Option or Alt on your keyboard will also work. So that's the basics of the moving tools. The last two things we didn't go over yet are the Paint Selection tool, which we will not be covering in this lesson this year, and the Lasso tool. Definitely will be using that in a future reference here. Again, this is our object here. We're going to hit Command Z in our keyboard, and that just goes to an undo step. So if you ever want to go back again, undo will let you do that. Now we're going to keep it this size, and I like it this size. But if you want to see it different perspectives, remember we had that letter Option here. We can move it around. We can also move it to different view modes. So this is the quad view mode. You can see it's the top section here, the front section here, and the side section here. This is, of course, our perspective viewing area. Again, Option, when move that mouse over there, you can see the differences in sizes. So while in this other view, you can see there's a top, front, and side. And if you want to move these, you can only dolly. Dolly is the middle mouse button, so your scroll button, you can actually push that down and holding Option first. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold the button here, Option, and click and drag that. You can dolly that. You can also dolly this sideways, left and right, up and down. It's all dolly. Again, if we want to rotate that, we just left click and holding Option this whole time, again, to rotate and move those. Dolly is the middle mouse button, and then left click and move around. So let's get into modeling. This is just the basics of modeling. I'm going to go back to here. You can also get to that by holding the space bar down and just go click that once, just with the space bar. Again, space bar, space bar. Now we're back to our 3D orthographic view. I'm going to hold Option and rotate that a little bit. I'm going to select it. Now I want to select it just for the object mode. This is a mode that lets you just edit the object itself. Right now we're going to click on the channel box and layer editor. So I'm going to click on that bad boy. And we're going to see here there's a section for subdivisions. So just like graphics, subdivisions also help with multiple different vertexes and edges and faces. So we're going to subdivide that by 20 each for X, Y, and Z. So now we're going to go 20, 20, and 20. What that does now is allows us to have these subdivisions here. Now I'm going to right click and hold that down. I'm going to select the vertex section. So let's zoom in on there. I hold Option, the middle button, to pan that around. And we're going to click on just this one corner. Now I've selected one vertex. I'm going to rotate this bad boy a little bit. You can see it's just the corner of my box. So I can rotate that and use these tools again. So in this case I can move this, I can move this, or this way. I'm going to hit Command Z again to get back. I can also rotate that. Nothing really happens. Why doesn't it happen? Well, because it's only a one-dimensional object. So you need to have 3 dimensions to scale the up or to move anything around. So we can only use the move tool. Now when we select multiple of those by holding Shift and click, and I can double click on all of those from Shift and clicking from one to the other. Now when I start to play with the rotation tool, look what happens. You can get some really crazy effects. Let me rotate that around so you can see what's happening. So again, I'm selecting all of those. Again, it's still a 2-dimensional plane. So if I want to go and rotate that now this way, I can. See what's happening there. Now we're going to move this out. So I can click on that, move this out. And now I have something going on here. We can also play with multiple of these. So we can use the selection tool, which is the lasso select. If I just hover this, it'll tell you the lasso tool. And I can select multiple of these vertexes. Now, be careful, because if you do, you can see it selects the whole way through the object, everything that you were looking at before. So it's really careful to do that. So you have to find a view that you can select multiple of those objects. And this always happens when you're playing around with object moving stuff. So now it's going to move all of those the same way. You can also use the scale tool. This is kind of fun. If you click the middle part and kind of move in, you can kind of shrink all of them to get some really cool effects. So again, I use that lasso tool to start getting an organic effect onto this object. So this is the basics of the vertex area. We're going to right click now and going to go into the face selection. So now I can select multiple faces by holding Shift. Zooming in here a little bit. I'll hold Shift. And you can see here, this is selected. Now I can use the move tool, just like every other tool, and select those faces. So if I have this, I can select from here and hold Shift and then double click, and it'll select all of the faces for me. That also happens when you select this again and double click. It'll select those faces. Then I can use my move tool and move those faces together. Again, holding Option and dragging that around. This is the interface, just moving faces and or vertexes. Now I'm going to show you the edges, which is it meets between the edges and vertex. So I'm going to, again, right click and go to the edge selection. Now I can select the edge, hold Shift and double click. If you just double click on it, it will select the whole object's edge. See, it's the whole way around. And now I can use that move tool with that edge if I want to move those together. Or I can scale them out or rotate them. I'm just going to use the scale tool here. I'm just going to scale that all out there. You start making some really medieval looking shapes that way. Double clicking that. Ooh, looking pretty crazy. Anyway, that's the basics of the vertex tool, the face selection, and the edge selection. And if you want to use all of those, You can go with the multi-selection. It selects each individual object. You just got to get really, really close to that object to select all the different areas. And then again, back to the object mode to just select the object you want. Select. There it is. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Look for more in the next few days. Thank you.